listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities, in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. You know, I've been doing this show. It's funny because other people know better than I do how long I've been here. I don't even know how long I was at the last radio station. I like doing this so much. I don't keep track. I know people will tell you like what number show they're on and things like that. And there's just so many things going on. Things happen so fast. And one of my favorite people across both radio shows was a guest that was booked by a producer back in the day who wanted some work done on his car. He's like, hey, I saw Bob Surratt with this guy. We should have him in. And lo and behold, I became very good friends with Warren Price, the Hawk from previously of Body Shop. Right? Did you see what I did?
Well done.
Right? I know my guardrails.
Yeah.
Warren Price, and it's always a pleasure to work with you. It's been just a really fun ride, and you're so supportive, not just of the work that I do, but I think the mission that a lot of us have, which is making sure that people are they feel supported.
I just got goosebumps all over because the support that's needed is. I'm sorry to say that we're very far away from where the support we need.
Right. Yeah. And that's
very far away.
And that's why I want to encourage
everyone's
folks
listening.
Well, that's why I want folks to be also, aware of the work that you're doing now, because you told me last year you had this new venture, and you're like, I met this guy, and we're going to collaborate, and I can't wait to tell you about it. And he would be in studio, like, texting the owner of that company, be like, hey, you're listening to this show. So you first, so tell me how you came to be a partner or a collaborate.
I'm not a partner.
Collaborate. Look,
you want to know? It goes back to 1957.
What?
When I went to Budlong Grade School, and across the street I had to pass the Sorellises every day because they had the corner building at Washington and Foster.
Okay.
And I became friends with the family. Now, the family was 5 people thick, kids, and then mom and dad.
Sure.
And my boss's father, Tom, who's on his way to the farm.
Yep, he is.
I talked to him.
That's not like a euphemism or something.
No, he's on his way. They have a farm. He was telling me that Peter's doing this solar stuff, and whoa, it blew me away. So Peter and I got together, and I'm working with him to give Planet Earth or Planet Illinois, because we're only licensed in Illinois, the opportunity to have people who own homes and businesses to save money.
Yeah, and be better for the environment. Hi, Peter. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Do you prefer Peter or Pete?
It goes either or.
Come a little bit closer to your microphone. There we go.
A little bit closer.
Excellent.
Right here.
That sounds really good.
There you go.
So Pete. But I say Peter in the ad, so I kind of like that. So first of all, your last name is Solaris?
Sorellis.
I was like, it can't be that convenient for his last name to be.
It looks really close.
It does look really close.
Peter Panels, Sorellis Solar. It's really close.
So did you grow up in that area at Budlong Woods?
No, I grew up over in Mayfair Park,
I
which
love
I still
Mayfair.
live today.
Yeah.
Just like my big fat Greek wedding, I bought a house 2 blocks away from my parents. So
I love that.
we like to keep it in the neighborhood and about 6 blocks away from
He's 6 blocks from me. Yeah, we're all live real close to each other.
I live right over here.
And you're not far,
I'm right here.
Yeah, you're 12 minutes, 14 minutes away.
Exactly, yeah. I actually grew up over there. I grew up in Montrose and Elston.
That's right. You had the place on Montrose. We have stories about Montrose.
Yeah, and I grew up on his same street, the block down on Kedvale.
Okay.
Too much information we just shared. Hi.
Yeah, I grew up on Kenneth and live on Costner now.
Oh, that's why the K streets.
Yep.
I'm in the M's.
And our
K
business
streets.
now is 6 blocks from here.
And I grew up on Northwest Highway.
Yep. And we're now at Northwest Highway and Nagel.
So there's a lot of Northwest Side love right now that we're sharing with folks.
Yeah.
We're over by there, is what we're saying.
Yep.
Over by there. We're from Chicago.
So where'd you go? I know I asked you before off the air, but now I'm going to interview you. So where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Whitney Young.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. And I did grade school up on the Northwest Side, which is Edison.
Oh, really? You went all the way to Edison?
Yeah.
You went to the gifted program.
I did.
I know these things.
Smart.
I know.
If you don't believe them, just ask them.
You know what's interesting? When I was just ask. They moved that program though now because it's Ebbingers.
They did. It's in Albany Park now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now it's called the options program. You
Is
were
that what
gifted.
it is?
That's what they call them now.
Okay.
Options program. You have the option to be gifted, I guess. I don't know.
Gifted
what
option?
Really? You buy an option.
Some people do. I'm
but
just
they do.
saying.
This is Chicago.
Something for nothing else. I'm just saying. But no, and my son went through a similar program, and I wanted. Actually, I think Whitney Young would have been a good school for him. So, what at Whitney Young were you like? Did you excel at like certain subjects other than that? Like science? Was that more in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, I was always into science. Surprisingly, so I went to University of Iowa.
Okay.
And I got an economics degree. It was a really weird way how I got into solar.
So guns and butter made sense to you?
Yeah, I was.
I can't. Like macro and micro. Am I having cheese with this? What's happening?
Macro.
I freaking hate economics. Yes.
So I ended up getting an econ degree and going into sales for solar. And when I was a junior in college, I met a guy in a bar one night. So I was
As
a
you do.
promoter at a bar.
Yeah.
Yep. We started talking. He offered me a job for a company called Solar City. A couple weeks later, he gave me a phone call and said, "Hey, I'd like to fly you out to our headquarters." I met Peter and Lyndon Rye, which is Elon Musk's cousins, in person.
Golly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 10 years ago, Elon was a different
everything was
Elon
different,
back then.
yes.
Yeah,
Hey.
whole different time. So I ended up meeting them, packing up my 2002 Prius and moving out to California, which I've never been to before.
Oh, wow.
So
Where in California?
It was in SoCal.
Okay.
Yep. So I was in Southern California. I did Orange County and then San Diego.
Oh, boy.
Then, packed up after a year and moved to New York. Did the same thing out there for a few months before finally going back to Iowa and graduating.
Okay.
So I had, as a 21-year-old, I was out living in California by myself selling solar. That was now 11 years ago.
Man.
Since then, I've started my own company. Started it originally in Iowa City, which we had our first location, and now our second location here on Northwest Highway. So we service the full state of Iowa, full state of Illinois. And what we're newly doing is our new venture called SoCap, which is a financer. So in the past, businesses couldn't get loans or leases, what we like to call PPAs, a power purchase agreement for a company. So opposed to you going out there and spending $1 million for solar, we come in and act as your power company, install everything, and then you just pay a monthly payment as you would toward like your normal power company at a lower rate. So we're guaranteeing at least a 20% savings on what you're spending on supply. Let's say you're spending $1,000 a month or so on your supply. We come out here, we install, your bill will be somewhere around $800 a month. It saves you right off the bat. Doesn't cost anything to do.
Holy cats.
Yep.
And I know
It's kind of a no-brainer.
I know there's going to be a lot of questions. And so would you want questions from I'm trying to figure out if we should do questions from listeners, because a lot of people have questions. They've had comments because, we've all had someone ring our bell or leave a pamphlet on our doors.
Definitely.
And we tried that. And there was something about like the resale value of the house. Somebody said, somebody asked, I'll just put the first question out there. Somebody texted a while ago. Do you own, when you sell the house, do you also have to sell the ownership of the solar panels? Like, is that included?
Yeah. So if you're talking residential, when you're selling your home, it depends on how you get solar. There's a million ways to skin a cat. You can do a cash purchase. You can do a loan where the homeowner owns it, or you can do a lease or a PPA. On a lease or a PPA, it's considered third-party ownership. So another company owns them, monitors, maintains the equipment.
Right.
When you are selling your home, when you ever come into a situation like that, what you want to do is buy out that lease, because whatever the value is that you're adding onto your home from that lease, it's going to be significantly higher than whatever that sales price is. So you're going to be making that arbitrage. Reason being, in Illinois, you have the 30% federal tax credit, plus you have a state incentive, which is an SREC, Solar Renewable Energy Credit. So that pays for about 50% of the cost of the system right up front. So when you have this lease on a system, most leasing companies have a buyout after 5 years, which is less than 50% of what that total sales price is. The system didn't depreciate by 50% by then.
Right.
It's probably depreciated around 5 or so when you're talking about degradation. So we actually had this with a woman in Quincy, Illinois about 2 months ago, or actually 4 months ago now. She was selling her home. She signed up for a lease. Opposed to just going out there and starting her lease payments, she was able to pay that off right away, right off the bat, after that first payment, and she made a net positive $3,000. I know it doesn't sound much, but on a system that was only $15,000, she sold it for $18,000 extra.
Right.
That's a big plus.
Well, plus then how much you're saving on energy every month.
Yeah, and that's how it's calculated.
Right.
It's not really calculated based on what the value of that system was. Similar to any contractor, a windows contractor, a roofing contractor might have a vastly different price. You know, you might go to two different people, get a $9,000 quote or a $15,000 quote. So with solar, everything's based off of what value is it adding to your home.
Right.
So NREL, National Renewable Energy Labs, and Zillow did a study about 4 years ago. Out of 2 million homes in the U.S., they said, how are we going to put a price tag on what solar is?
Exactly.
And what they came to is if you have two houses that are completely identical in a cul-de-sac somewhere, you know, the exact same build, what makes X more than Y? And what they came to was, well, one's going to spend electric bills for the next 20 years, the other one's not. So what they added the value onto the home was 20 years of electrical spend. So let's say one home is spending $1,000 a year on electricity, the other home isn't. Mm-hmm. That home is now $20,000 more valuable.
They're paying more than that a year.
They're definitely paying more than that a year.
And I was right; the questions are coming in, so I appreciate that. We're hanging out with Peter Soleris.
SAR, S-A-R.
Can I just change it to like Solar?
Solar. I mean, it sounds a lot cooler.
Sorelis. Peter Sorelis. Is that it?
Yeah, you got it.
Peter Sorelis and Warren Price. See, I'll get it. See, I can screw up everybody's name.
25 years it is.
Yeah, we'll be good. I'll catch up sooner or later. Mm-hmm. Hey, do you know that my mom had to correct me on my own name? It's Vasquez, not Vasquez.
Vasquez.
I know. I say it right now. Anyway, let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation with our friends from Source Solar. Go to source.solar for more information about the work that they do and learn about the company. And we'll take your questions. Paul, can we open up the phone lines when you get a chance? And we'll take your questions when we come back. There's already some lining up on the screen. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. Hi, this is Patti Vasquez. We appreciate all our fans of Driving It Home, and your support of show sponsor Monaco Brewing Company ensures that our important conversations continue right here on WCPT each weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can now find the Resistance IPA, Labor Lager, or the Resistance Pilsner beer at several Illinois locations, including Arminetti Wine and Spirits in Woodstock, Pineapple and Company in North Riverside, Lions Beverage Depot in Arlington Heights, and MP's Liquor, Wine and Beer in North Aurora. For a full list of Chicagoland locations, please visit MonacoBrewingCompany.com. As always, please vote and drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
In your communities in Chicago.
On WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, off the air we were talking about food, and that was probably a bad idea. Now I got to go to Brandy's after this. Get some
brandy or some food.
They've got some good. What's the spinach with the flaky? Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. They have some good stuff. They have some good feta. I don't know if they have. Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted. Did you see how quickly I just sort of devolved into food? We are in studio with Peter Soleris.
Yep, it's Peter Sorelis.
I'll get it right soon.
You got it.
You were very gracious on that one. The mastermind, the CEO, and the what are the titles? The founder of Source Solar, and we're talking about solar panels on residential, on businesses. Warren Price. Really?
What's the price?
The price is right.
How do I keep changing? What is happening in my brain?
It's okay.
Hawk.
Is it Q says?
Yes, exactly. Sanchez. It depends on where you're traveling. Yes. So folks do have questions about putting solar on their house. We came close years ago, and I think it was hard for us to understand that element of it. When you sell the house and that kind of thing. And I guess for people who know they're going to stay in their house till they're done, right? First of all, we'll put them in one category. Like if you've been thinking about this is great for you, you're saving on energy every single month. If you're reselling, we are going into a period. Even though we have this guy in the office, we know that solar is the future, right? I mean, there's just no getting around finding alternatives.
There is no way.
Yeah.
And the one thing about solar is it's a win-win-win for everybody. So when we go out there and we're pitching either a homeowner or a business, and they're saying, well, this sounds too good to be true. Why would ComEd, why would the utility be giving these incentives? Why would the state be giving these incentives? Why would the Fed be giving these?
Right.
And it's because everyone needs it. So if you look at it, ComEd and utilities, they have a renewable portfolio standard to hit. They have to go 100% renewable by the year 2050. Yeah, we know that's 25 years from now, but they have to get there slowly but surely. So they're incentivizing people to go solar. So, but their incentive, and plus the federal government incentive, ComEd's winning because they're hitting their goal quicker. The homeowner's winning because they're getting a lower utility bill that they can now know exactly what that cost is going to be in 10 years or 15 or 20 years from now. You can't predict that with your current utility provider.
No.
And then also contractors win because we're the ones going out there. We're getting jobs in the area. We went from a company of 1 when I started 5 years ago to now having over 40 employees.
Oh, man.
Yep.
That's great.
And we're constantly growing. Solar is the fastest growing industry in the United States by a moonshot.
Now I see what you like.
Now you know who I'm in?
Warren Price.
I'm his bodyguard.
There you go. Well, we have a listener who's asked. Our first question is this is the first one. Your calls will be taken in the order they've received. So the first text is, I'm not sure where you're going with this, Patty. I don't know why we're starting there, Mark. But I have a question about solar. I had a house in California and got solar, but electricity was about 0.30 per kilowatt hour.
30 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay. In Illinois, it's so much cheaper. Does solar work for homes with cheap electricity like we have here?
Yes. And the reason being, you need 3 things for solar to make economic sense. First, you need a really sunny state. We don't have that.
Nope.
Let's be honest. Illinois is not a sunny state.
Go to Denver.
The second thing you need is a high utility price. And if you look, ComEd has been increasing significantly. If you look at what their price was in 2019, they're about 11 cents a kilowatt hour, where now they're 14.5. So they've gone up about 40%. If you're in Ammerman territory, so the bottom 2/3 of the state, in 2022, their rates went from 9 cents a kilowatt hour to 18 cents a kilowatt hour overnight. They doubled. And our customers down there, you see these homes that are only worth $120,000, and their bills are $600 a month.
Come on now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So if you have that high price utility, like with California, they have a lot of sun, they have a high price utility, it makes sense. The third thing is a great incentive. So what incentivizes you to go solar and why we're able to do our own in-house financing is from local incentives. So we get this SREC, the Solar Renewable Energy Credit. ComEd has other credits available for different parts of the state. So we're able to bundle these together, give you a no-hassle system that's a very low price. We're able to go in there, do everything for you, handle all the back-end paperwork, and it's a no-brainer.
Fantastic. Look at that.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that too.
Easy work for me after all these years of fixing people's cars.
Okay, then we have from the 773, this is Allison. We live on a wooded lot. Would solar panels work for us?
Unfortunately, if you have a lot of shading, solar doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that's one thing of the solar industry that I've learned, and what kind of gives the industry a bad name is solar reps try to sell anybody. No matter what. When I go to you and what our company brings you says it works, it doesn't, it doesn't. We can't sell you something that doesn't work. So we're going to show you the numbers. If your house doesn't get enough sunlight, or if you have a single tree in front of your house that you're willing to cut down or work with us in cutting down, we can make that happen. But if you live in a wooded lot, somewhere in, Wheaton or the North Shore, or you've got 40 trees around your home, it's just not going to make sense for you.
Right. What about your existing wiring in your house? Does anything? Because I'm not saying we probably should have had this done a while ago. My uncle Desi from the fire department said get rid of those paper covered wires.
Yeah, those you got to get. You got to rewire the house.
Yes, we got to rewire the house.
That's what you got to do.
So you have old knob and tube. So just for my background.
Excuse you. All right.
So my background.
That's kind of like.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
Yeah. So my background as a
okay.
So I told you I graduated from
my background's in comedy, so continue.
Okay, you could use that. You can.
I'm such a 12-year-old boy. I'm sorry, Peter. So with outdated wiring like we have in my house.
Yep, and that's completely fine. So I'm also a licensed electrician and have a licensed master's certificate that I got last year.
Hello.
Yep.
All right, we'll be talking.
Yeah, just to, you want to be a professional in the industry. You want to know everything about it.
Right.
So opposed to most people who just know a small segment of the industry, I wanted to get everything hands-on myself. So I have a roofing license, electrical license, master's certificate. Whenever there's something that I can learn more, I go and I learn it.
Wow. We do have a listener who asks, you mentioned that you went from you running this entire business to now having 40 people working.
Yep.
They're wondering how do they apply? Their son is fresh out of college with a master's and an interest in this field.
Great. So if you shoot us an email at info@source, source.solar, SOLAR, you just put in the title, new hire, and that'll come to me. I'll take a look at it, and we'll give you guys a call.
All right. Sorry, typing that just in case they're writing it down. I can get it for them.
You're good. And also to answer your question on the old wiring.
Yes.
So solar doesn't change anything that you currently have in your home.
So what affect like power surges or anything like that? I mean, I have my blow dryer and the washing machine at the same time. I'm screwed.
So
anyway.
So think of it like this: your current power is probably like 100 amp breaker box. So you have 100 amps constantly coming in. What we do with solar is we just tap right into those wires with tap connectors and have your additional 20, 30, 40 amps, whatever it might be. But you'll never get above that 100 amp mark, so it'll never affect anything negatively.
There you go. He has a lot of answers.
That's why I'm here.
I mean,
how many installations have you done, Peter?
Over 1,200.
That's incredible. That really is remarkable. Congratulations on all this.
Thank you.
I mean, did you ever in your wildest dreams? This is just somebody who was recruiting on campus, right? Was that what it was?
No, it's a random guy who he actually just got recruited. He was living in Iowa his whole life. He got recruited to move out to California. And it's funny we're talking about this story because you said ever in your wildest dreams. I was out the other night with my cousin and his girlfriend, and she asked, she's like, I've known you for about 6-8 months now. How did you get into solar? And I told her the story, and she was sitting there with her mouth open. I'm like, yeah, sometimes you just bump into someone at a bar and it changes your life.
Yeah. But they were, you met them at a bar. See, but here's the thing. They don't recruit historians the same way. Not history majors. They're not like, oh, you know a lot about Abraham Lincoln and when he gave that speech in 1838 about how the greatest threat to our country is going to come from within. Nobody cares. Nobody
knew, right?
I laughed when you said you had a degree in economics because, one, I don't think I meet that many people who did that,
really?
who chose that. I really don't. I to be honest, like very few people that I know.
So the reason being, I started as finance, and I could graduate quicker by going liberal arts.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
And I was already selling solar. I already understood the industry. I really just wanted to get the piece of paper that said I graduated because I was the first in my family to have a college degree, and it would have really hurt having 3 years of credits under my belt and walking in there with 20 AP credits and not graduating.
I would say, I mean, even though finance, like people say it's the money thing, but like there's more of a like, I don't know, a gravitas to an economics degree. I mean, that's hard stuff. I'm not going to lie. I got a D in my economics. That's why I twitch a little bit. But what I didn't know was you could contest your grade. And most of the people in my class did because I remember the TA, because they put macro and micro in the same semester.
Okay, so you're the first half of the semester.
I have no idea. It was terrible.
That's what we did in high school.
I was 18, and so the TA I'm not kidding you, for 40 minutes, because I remember looking at my watch when he stood back and he goes, hold on a second, none of this is right. And he erased everything to start all over again. So I was like...
And you took notes on everything.
I take a lot of notes. So I could not. And I used to feel really bad about getting a D in economics until Alan Greenspan, when we had the recession, like the economic meltdown in 2008, and he said we don't really know what happened, and I'm like, I might have gotten a D, but I didn't break the economy.
I didn't say I didn't know what happened.
I don't really know what happened.
I don't. They said one of the things was they didn't all the sort of like the supply and demand and all the mechanisms of the economy. They can evaluate it and crunch all the numbers or do all the things and equations. What they couldn't account for was human greed.
They're accounting for it now.
That's what that was.
Just look at our administration right now.
Just and the housing, but remember the housing market was
terrible.
They were buying up the insurance as to whether or not people could pay off their mortgages. I mean, they were buying up the prospect of the economy crashing. So anyway,
They had these policies that they would sell. People that for their mortgages, accident, health, and credit life, and they'd buy the policy up and
I'm just saying that we couldn't account for that. Let me take a break because there are more questions coming in. So let me reset. And the 708, you're absolutely welcome. And about giving the information about reaching out about applying for a job. They also say not to mention less dependence on an aging electrical grid.
Exactly. And we can go over that in a minute.
We'll go off. Oh, look at him being good about I said I was going to go to a break.
Wow.
More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. We're in studio with Warren Price and our new friend, Peter Sarlar. No,
Surrealist.
I can only get one right at a time.
Sir.
Do you not understand how Surrealist? See how you both helped me? Price, Surrealist. Now I got it.
There you go.
I might be able to do this.
Well,
Now
I
it's gone.
think what we need to do is spell it S-I-R instead of S-A.
Surrealist.
I don't even. Can I tell you the truth? Can I tell you the truth? I don't even have it in front of me. I was just going off memory.
Sir Ellis sounds like a knight.
Sir Ellis.
You're a knight.
Let's take a
Sir
quick.
Ellis.
Oh, and actually, a listener spelled it out for me. I appreciate that. Look at you having fans.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
not his mom and dad because they're on the highway.
Are they listening in the car?
No, they can't. It doesn't reach down there.
They're going to the farm? Oh, we'll talk about that too later. More in a
Farmers.
moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal with our newest sponsor of the show. We have our friends from Source Solar. Go to source.solar for more information about the great work they do. And we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez
In your communities, in Chicago.
on WCPT 820.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. You know, we have our newest sponsors in studio with us. And last week we had our sponsors from Are You Really Winning? As we've talked about, March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and we're proud to welcome a new sponsor to the Driving It Home family, Are You Really Winning? Gambling is common in Illinois, with many people taking their chances on the lottery, video game rooms, casinos, or online sports betting. When you find yourself betting and thinking about gambling all the time, when you lose more than you win, and as I mentioned this last week, when my dad found himself in a hole, he kept trying to chase it and threw more money at it. And I know that people think there's a lot of shame to this. The people in your life love you and they want you to get help, and then you can help them. When you lose more than you win, and when gaming is affecting your job, relationships, and more, Are You Really Winning? We are here to help you because you are not alone. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit areyourreallywinning.com today. And so I was just talking. So one of the reasons I partnered with Are You Really Winning, and I was so excited to work with them, is because my dad was a big gambler. I mean, like when I was a kid, it was just like the racetracks and poker games. I would sit in Daddy's lap and learn how to play gin rummy and stuff. But I didn't find out until last week that because of his gambling, the house that we now live in, that we're talking about with solar panels, my mom had to pay a higher interest rate because of their credit rating and the history and stuff like that. So there's all these elements and all the stress that people have about buying a house, and that's why I love that we're kind of breaking down the fear or the hesitance, I guess, of trying something new in your life, right?
And one thing that we do, whenever someone asks if this saves you money, say I won't be in business if it didn't. And what our target customer is the middle class American. Because think about this. When I learned this in California when we were going to sell houses that are, $5 million houses, or even here you get, up in the North Shore, you get these $5-10 million mansions. Those homeowners are spending about $1,000 a month on electricity.
Right.
Opposed to around Chicagoland area, in the city, we spend about $1,000 a year. They spend $1,000 a month. But for them, saving $200 a month, it's not worth it. Because think about what are they going to save over the course of a year? $2,400? They spend that on dinner.
Right.
It's no big deal.
One dinner for 4.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
you're right.
When I find a family here in Chicago and I can say I can save you $50 a month, or $600 a year, or $1,000 a year, that makes a huge impact, because that's a difference of their kids getting new shoes, new backpacks, something major for that family, opposed to just catering to those who really don't need to show the savings.
Right. Wow. It makes so much more sense.
It's
he's like the ambassador for solar energy in your house.
How can not one think about saving money? Period. End of story.
I know.
Saving money.
Here's a question. What is the lifespan? This is from Dave, our friend Dave in Hoffman Estates. What is the lifespan of these solar panels?
Dave, that's a great question, and I get this all the time. So solar, similar to everything else, degrades over time. If, Hawk, you buy your 22-year-old daughter a phone, and she's sitting there and playing around on it, that battery life is going to be a lot different in 6 months from now than it is today.
True.
So with solar, we use what's called a Tier 1 module. So Bloomberg every year evaluates thousands and thousands of different brands all across the world, and they put out a list of Tier 1 modules. And in order to be in that Tier 1 module, you have to degrade at less than 0.5% per year. So your first year, you degrade anywhere between 1% to 2%, but then every year after that, degrade by 0.5% per year. So even after 25 years, you're typically around 82 to 84% efficient still. Meaning that even in 50 years from now, your system's about 70% efficiency.
Come on.
So all it does is degrade a little bit over time. It's not like it just goes bad. People say, yeah, the panels are going to break. I've got videos. I mean, you can go on YouTube, look at videos of people taking ice balls the size of softballs and launching them 200 miles an hour. You can hit golf balls against them. We even tested this it was on a job site. Tossed a hammer off the roof on one of them. We had an extra panel, and I was like, let's record this. Threw a hammer at it, didn't break. So it's tempered glass, the same as a windshield. Yeah, obviously, if I keep throwing a hammer at it over and over again, it is going to break. Don't do
that. Yeah,
don't do that. But it's flexible. It gives. You can drive a car over them. If it's not direct impact, I can jump on a panel. It's not going to crack. So they are very durable.
And they are included in your. I mean, how does that affect your homeowner's insurance?
Yep. So it will be added to your homeowner's insurance in case there is fire, hailstorm, anything like that. From what I've seen, out of all the projects we've ever installed, there's only been one that's been affected by a storm, and that's because a tree fell down on top of a ground mount system.
You can't account for that. That's not going to be.
That was a little bit different. But everything else, every time we get an insurance claim, like I said, we're also a licensed roofing contractor. So we have to go back to a lot of our sites to do what's called a detach and reset because the shingles get damaged. Hailstorm rolls through. It's going to destroy your roof. The panels are going to be just fine. But we come out, we remove the panels, take all the racking off, we'll redo your roof for you, wait 2 weeks for the roof to set, and then we put everything back up so it's very seamless.
Man, look at all that.
And the insurance company will pay for it.
Correct. All of it.
Man, that's wild. There's another question. Can you put solar panels on a flat roof?
Yeah. So I use a product here that almost nobody else uses in Chicagoland called Solar Stack, made in the U.S. About some guys down in Florida have made it. So what it is, opposed to drilling through your flat roof, which you used to have to do, it's pieces of aluminum that have spray foam that you plop it right on top, and they're 180 mile an hour plus wind resistant. So you spray foam solar on a pitch to the roof, so you don't have a roof penetration. It's not going to ruin any of your warranties, and it's 100% leak free.
Holy cats. All right, I think this might be our last. Well, we might have time. Do you sell a system to take a house off the grid?
We do. So there are battery options.
I like how you say we do.
Yeah, we do have battery options for that. I wouldn't suggest doing it because you have to see where we are in the northern hemisphere. Even our sun hours compared to Peoria, compared to St. Louis, are drastically different. My parents right now going down on the farm, they have UVs of like 7 right now. Yeah. Where our max UV we're getting is like a 5. So in the months of November through February, you would need 3 times as many modules and 3 times as many batteries to give you the same output as a month like July. So I wouldn't suggest going 100% off the grid, but we do have options for you that if there was an outage, you'd be able to stay off the grid for, 2-3 days at a time.
Outstanding. So, by the way, since you're asking, it's source.solar, everybody.
You got it.
Source.solar, you get all the information there. This is so exciting.
This is a good show today.
This is a very good show. Yeah. You know who we need to hear from, though? I don't know if Jim has a question about solar. He might want to vent. So, Jim, if you want to vent or if you want to have a question about solar, go at it. What's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, I'm way off subject, actually, but a documentary that won't be shown in the United States and won 4 Academy Awards in the arrest of the Palestinian student.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you.
And he's being sent to Louisiana. His wife's 8 months pregnant.
Yep.
Christine Ohm must have spent a fortune just to get the ice up there. Can you imagine the ice agents had
just for the photo op, yep. I know.
Amazing. But he wants to get that golden statue in Gaza, that's for sure.
Yep.
We'll look forward to that. His beautiful face and a statue there for years to come.
Thanks.
Anyway,
thanks. Of course.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jim. So we have a follow-up question from the flat roof.
Sure thing.
I was going to say flat roofer. By the way, that's when I knew things were coming off the rails in this country, when there were people who really believed the planet might be flat. That's when I was just like, we're not.
Christopher Columbus proved
we're not okay. That's when I started. This was about 10 years. Do you remember this when this started?
Yeah. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a huge internet troll.
Right.
Like they knew exactly what they were doing just to see how how far they can push.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, we're not okay. So the follow-up question is, on the flat roof option, is it more expensive than traditional solar panels that you would pay for a pitched roof?
Slightly, but it's going to be nominal to you. You know, we're talking a couple cents a watt here. The pro is since you're putting your modules at a due south angle, opposed to most homes that don't have a perfectly south-facing roof, you're getting that back from the production since your system's going to be producing much better.
There you go. Well, we're going to have another segment very soon.
Q&A's, man. You're getting the A's are working.
Come back in April. Give me some dates that work for, not right now, but send me some dates that work for you guys to come back in a few weeks. Yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's get people hooked up with solar, man.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, and besides the install side, also on the financing, so this is the really big push that Hawk and I are going to be doing, is finding businesses that are owner-occupied, so the owner of the building is also running that business, that they want to switch over and save some money on their electric bills. Because I even see how much money we're spending right here down the street. You know, we're leasing that property. We're spending $500 a month and using the same amount of power I use in my apartment when I only get charged $75 to $100. Because it's the demand charge at that time of day. So when is power...
the demand.
Yep.
Excellent.
And when is power the most expensive? When the sun's out.
I was going to say.
So if you have solar on between those hours of noon and 4, that's your peak demand charge. We'll be able to mitigate those and save you guys a lot of money.
Excellent. Source.solar, everybody, and the conversation will continue. And you can put questions, direct them to Peter, Sir Lars. Sir Lars?
L.S.
Sir Lars. So, no, I don't have it.
Sir.
Can we start the show over again?
Yeah, it's 5:01.
I got to go. Warren Price, thank you so much for joining me. Source.solar.
Pleasure, Patty. Always a pleasure to spend time.